And so I think the moral is okay, we're all going to make mistakes, but then do you know who to go to help you get out of those messes?
Right.
It's really important that you and Dad have set up an area like where, yes, we make mistakes and we feel bad about it, then we might not want to bring them to you, but you always make it a safe place for us to be able to tell you and receive guidance and how to fix it. So that's really important that you set up a place for your kids that they know that you will give them steps forward and not just tell them that they're a bad kid or a bad scholar or whatever it is, that they're just going to give you steps of guidance forward.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jackie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm in the studio with Abbie, Belle, and Crissy, and we're continuing to talk about having a standard that we are always living up to, even if we make mistakes, what that looks like, how we walk through it, because in our scenario that just happened a week and a half ago, Belle?
Yep,
Right.
week and a half ago, and I had to fix it all up over the past week.
Right, that this is the live thing that's happening now, not something in the past, although we have stories of all of us
Yeah.
making mistakes, but we're really just chatting about the fact that sometimes when things get hard, we have to press into them versus straying away from them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so here we were chatting with Bella, who had a scenario. For about 2 weeks, she decided to veer off from doing math.
And go to my favorite subject, history, which involves lots of reading, and I love reading. So I kind of neglected math a lot, and it wasn't so fun when I got found out, because then I had to fix it all up, and if I didn't fix it all up by a certain day, I couldn't go to my basketball game that night. And so fixed it all up, and yeah, here I am now.
So here we were, just a little quick recap. I did homework check and realized that Bella was about 2 weeks behind on her math.
Yeah.
And it was simply because it got a little hard. And instead of you asking for some help, you thought you could maybe push it off to the next day, come back to it.
Right.
And every day it got a little harder to get caught up. Is that how you would explain it?
Yeah, I think kind of like, I thought if I got past like these lessons, kind of skipped around, did a couple different ones, I'd understand it better. Doesn't work that way. There's a reason why they put the units together the way they did. And I wasn't following the game plans, so I got very behind.
Right. And at that point, her sisters had already moved on. Right, girls?
Right, we were on a different unit, so like sometimes if she had asked like maybe for a little bit of help back in units that we were past, I was like, we're up ahead. I don't really remember exactly how they taught us how to do this right now because we're up ahead on different lessons thinking about completely different like formulas and things. So I was like, I'm sorry, I just don't really know. You're going to have to, figure this out because we've moved on,
It would have taken us so much time, probably. It would have taken us some time to like rewatch the video and remember for some of these harder ones and also maybe look back on what we did. But even then it was like, we kind of moved past, like if you wanted that question, we should have done it the day that we did it, which it was a learning curve and that's okay. But at the same time, me and Crissy are like, we're on the same track. We're like doing well. And then Bella's like, I need some help with something. And we're like, we're kind of past that right now. So
No, I thought it was a good lesson learned. Again, majority of the time, Greg and I let Abbie, Belle, and Crissy, they're in the same subject, same grade, same everything, so they can work through problems together. We love it that they can have each other to mastermind with and kind of explain it to each other because one person understands it a little better than the other, and it works out much better, I feel.
Super helpful because like each of us have different strengths in different like subjects. Like Abbie's strength is like math. Her mind is just really detail oriented. She can catch the things that we don't. Like Bella has good strengths in history. Like she's really good at reading and interpreting different things, and also like her writing is really excellent because she's read a lot. So we all have different like strengths in different subjects. So it's really helpful having three voices to ask questions from.
Right. So in this scenario, when Belle got kind of busted with not getting her math done, it was an opportunity for Bella to press into this. So what kind of happened is I found out that she was not doing her math up to par. And then through that, realizing that I had to confront her. But first, like I always explain, guys, Greg and I had to get on the same page. When I found out what was going on, I started, navigating through her math, looking it all over, seeing where you were behind, what's going on. Of course, the first assumption is, why is she behind? Like, did she not have enough time in the day? Do we have too much going on our plate? Like, was she not managing her time well? Like, what's going on, first of all? So Greg and I kind of thought through, and we were like, no, I know we're busy with some sports stuff, but we're not so busy that she doesn't have time every day to get some math done. And then I even asked the other girls, like, do you guys feel overwhelmed with too much math? Is something going on? They're like, no, some of the problems have been pretty hard, but we're not overwhelmed with what's going on. Okay. And so then from there, as Dad and I were kind of looking it all over, we were in his office. I had to go pick up Bella soon. And we just came to a conclusion together, like, this is how we're going to handle it. We're going to handle it this way. And I just encourage you parents to always make sure you're on the same page together. The last thing we want to do is, one of us finds out, I come in, I start questioning Bella. Maybe I start getting really upset and I'm screaming about something. Greg doesn't know what's going on. We didn't get a chance to discuss it ahead of time to know kind of what the next steps would be to get this on track. We didn't want to come across like we were not on the same page. We wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
Right, and I thought it was really important that you guys gathered all your information and talked about it beforehand. You didn't talk about it with maybe her in the room before you came up with your game plan. Like, you discussed everything, that what you were going to do, how you were going to react, and you took time to think about it before you just reacted to an idea or an opinion.
And I feel like that's how people, like parents, can kind of get separated in their opinions because they didn't get on the same page. So then one of the kids are like, I'm going to go to, like, let's say, like, Dad was really upset. I'm going to go to Mom because she's, like, kind of okay with it. She's, like, kind of feels bad for me right now, even though I know I should have pushed through this. But because they weren't on the same page, and this takes time. It's not like this is like, okay, let's take, like, 5 minutes and figure out that we're on the same page. This takes time to process things, to figure out more information. It's not like they just looked at the first thing and said, okay, I'm really upset right now, I'm going to go do it. But this is all out of love to teach Bella and to teach all of us whenever we've gone through different scenarios that first get on the same page, and then we're going to address it to our child, God's child, that needs some just direction to get back on track the way that God designed you to be.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like also it causes tension for the kids for if the parents are not on the same page, then the kids are often very confused and don't know what side to pick.
Yeah, because do you go with Mom? Do you go with Dad? What do we do here?
Yeah, because it's really difficult because you're like, I want to be with both of them. Like, I want them to be on the same page so I can be with both of them. But it's really difficult when you as a kid are put in a position that you don't know how to handle. So it's really important for parents to be on the same page in the first place.
I agree with that. And so with that, that's what Greg and I did first. Then I went and picked up Bella from the activity she was at. And you can say, like, you got in the car, you already knew something was wrong, right? Like, you could tell I was a little tense, a little quiet.
I could tell because Mom told me I could drive home, and she was like, Bella, get in the back seat. And I was like, okay. And so I knew something was going on. I was not excited for the car ride.
Did you kind of have an idea what it might have been?
No idea. I didn't even think of math or anything like that. I was like, oh,
That's
no.
a problem in
what
itself.
What did I do?
Yeah, and I think, we had like a 10-minute drive home before, and I just, I said to her, I kind of started the conversation because, again, as a parent, I don't want her walking into a room after Dad and I discuss something and be kind of like shocked. Like, walking into this room like, what in the world is going on? I wanted to prep her, right? And I simply said to you, I remember saying, Belle, I'm really disappointed. I just did homework check.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
So did you have an idea now?
Yes, for sure. The minute you said homework check, I was like, dang, I know the one thing that I'm behind in, and that's math.
Mm-hmm. And so I said, I'm really disappointed. This is not who you are. And I just looked at your math, and you were behind quite a bit. And I said, am I correct? And you said, yeah. And then I said, okay, well, when we get home, we're going to be discussing this with Dad because this is not okay. What you've been doing is not okay. This is not our standard. We all have made mistakes, but it's time we own it, right? And I think at that point, you're kind of like, well, can I explain to you what happened?
Well, you said, so you can either start telling me now or you can wait till we get home.
Right. Yeah. And I think you were like, well, can I explain some now? And then I go, that's fine. You're just going to re-explain it to Dad, too, when we get home. Yeah. And sure enough, a 10-minute car ride felt like it was like 2 hours to get home.
Yep. Yes, it did.
You're like, what back routes and loop-de-loops are you taking me on right now, Mom? Taking so long.
I was like, well, it's a good thing I'm not driving right now because I would be messing up pretty bad.
Aw. So then we walked into the office to talk with Dad, and how'd it go?
I knew both of you were not happy, which is to be expected. And I sat down on the couch, and Mom's sitting on the couch over here, and Dad's like in his office chair. And you guys were just saying kind of the same things that you just told me, going into what I would have to do, get done with all the math that I was behind on by Saturday, or else I couldn't go to my game that night and be in basketball until I caught up on everything. And I remember being like, dang, why did I even get behind? That wasn't a good idea. I should have just stayed with the program. And then after that, I had to go downstairs and start working before basketball. That was going to be like an hour and a half. And Mom was like, my dad's really good at math, so you could call him and ask him for the hard questions that you don't know. And my grandpa was a mechanical engineer. Yeah, so he's really good with numbers. And I think he really enjoys math. So it was definitely good to have him almost, he was calling me for probably like 2 hours every day to help me with my math and help me get all caught up.
I think that the lesson kind of is, first of all, how much better did you feel after, though, we got it out in the open?
For sure, yeah.
I mean, like, it was frustrating, right? Anytime we have to clean up our messes, it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Right? I mean, when Bella came and we started talking about it, you could tell, I mean, you got emotional right away. You felt bad that you had gotten behind. I think you were embarrassed.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And just really mad at yourself a little bit, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, for sure. I was just thinking, why did I think that was a good idea? Why did I do that? Things like that.
And, her dad and I just sat there and talked and said, our first reaction would be like, no sports, no nothing right now. Yeah. You need to get your homework done. Because in our family, we work first, play second.
Yeah, that was always something that we've been learning. And even some of our goals for this year, like for Drew's, he said, like, make sure I remember that it's, like, make sure it's at the top of my mind, like, work before play, because it's such a thing that is in our family core values, is, like, you work before you play. So you get your homework done. That's why it's always in the morning that we do homework. And then you get to play and enjoy whatever you want to enjoy. And for us, something that we enjoy is sports. Mm-hmm. So that's, like, a privilege that we get for Mom and Dad to put us in and pay for all of our things to be able to be a part of it. So that's, like, that's what our fun is, you know? So work before play. That's our play right there, is doing sports. So if we didn't have our homework done, then we wouldn't get the privilege of doing our play, even if that meant disappointing our team for a little bit, because it mattered more.
Right, it does. And so we just said we really would ideally pull you right now, but we know that's probably not the best play. And one of the reasons we decided not to is, number one, we could already tell that she was sorry for her actions. You had already said you were sorry. It was obvious from, like, your behavior that you were really sad that you had done what you did, If we don't come with that humbleness of already being apologetic, then, sometimes as parents we have to be like, okay, so maybe they don't care if I actually pull them. And if that's the case, that's a whole nother topic right now. You know what I mean? That we need to go over. Mm-hmm. So we could tell. And so we wanted to give you that chance. But you only had about 4 days to get everything done.
I think it was 3 days, because I think you guys found out on Thursday, and I had to have it all done on Saturday, I want to say. Maybe it was 4.
Okay. So it was 3 or 4 days. Yeah. And, when she left our office, after we kind of came up with the game plan of what you just said, Dad and I felt horrible. No parent wants to correct their kids the whole time. No parent wants to see their kid hurting. No parent wants to see their kid, disappointed in themselves. But we had a parent. We have to have the hard talks, right? And then we have to stick to what the rules are of our family and the standard of our family. Yeah. And I think as you left, like, at least now you knew it was out in the open. You felt better about that. Mm-hmm. You didn't have to keep thinking it was an area that you have to hide or not face into. We're facing it, right? And then from there, as we were sitting here, you're right. I said to Greg that my dad is very good at math. I wonder if Grandpa would be willing to tutor you for a little bit and walk you through the hard ones. And he's like, I think that'd be great. That'd be a good time for them together. Mm-hmm. And then also, my dad is very meticulous.
Yep.
And making sure that you learned it to the utmost point, wouldn't you say?
For sure.
Very thoroughly.
Very thorough, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, for sure. Techiness is not his strength, but he'd write everything out for every equation. Then he'd try to, like, hold it up to the screen so I could see it and be like, Bella, do you understand that?
Yes. And take the time. And so the two of you worked on, I just remember going down in the schoolroom area where you were working for a minute. And I just said, we thought about it, and this is going to be a lot of work for you to do on your own. And you were really upset. You're like, yeah. And I'm like, and your sisters can't help you. They're past these lessons. And you're like, yeah. I said, so we thought maybe you could talk to Grandpa and find out if he would help you.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was great because then right away we got a game plan. You got on with Grandpa and you started figuring out times and stuff. But what the funny part was is his availability was 8 a.m. your time.
Yep. That means I was up bright and early, which was it's what I needed.
It's what you needed. When all the other kids were waking up around 9:30, you were waking up at 7:30 a.m. to get some time with Grandpa. And I just think it was neat because in the end, did it all get done?
Yep. All got done.
And do you know it better than ever?
Yes, for sure. Yes.
And it was a lesson learned. And I will tell you, I'm so proud of you for it because you worked really hard during that time. You made sure that you did everything you could to learn what you could, to study what you could. You put extra time in it. We didn't have to remind you. It was really just a learning curve for you. Fun time with Grandpa, of course.
For sure.
And in the end, you got it all done actually ahead of schedule a little bit.
Yeah, so I got done 18 masks or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I got done I want to say 5 the first day, then 10 the next day, and then I only had 3 the day after.
Mm-hmm. And then you were able to head off to your game like normal. But how much happier were you?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, even in the house, you were this heavy weight is lifted, and you were just a different person in the house. Yeah. Happier, more excited. Everything had been aired out.
Yeah.
And so I think the moral is okay, we're all going to make mistakes, but then do you know who to go to help you get out of those messes?
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
It's really important that you and Dad have set up an area where, yes, we make mistakes and we feel bad about it, then we might not want to bring them to you, but you always make it a safe place for us to be able to tell you and receive guidance and how to fix it. So that's really important that you set up a place for your kids that they know that you will give them steps forward and not just tell them that they're a bad kid or a bad scholar or whatever it is, that they're just going to give you steps of guidance forward.
I love it.
And it's not like Mom and Dad would bring it up to all of us and say, hey, Bella totally messed up, totally embarrass her for what she did. They would just say, hey, I know that Bella got a little off with her math. We see that and we're going to bring it up to her. Yeah. Let's not keep talking about it. She already feels bad as it is. Right. We don't need to keep talking about it. And it's happened before when we've had scenarios like this, and it's everybody first needs to be addressed, otherwise everybody's so confused.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on? What and also then we can learn from the scenarios. Not sure, it's harder to be the person that actually has to go through it.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Everybody still learns, and I feel like it's a continual learning curve for everybody, where everybody can just get the full benefit of it. Sure, the person that did it actually gets the actual full benefit, but
lucky you.
Yep, and I also feel like it's important to press through the yuckiness of the different situations in order to have the carefree, lighthearted child that you really have when they're not dealing with all the things that they've done.
That's good. Good job, girls.
Good job, Mom.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.